everyone. Welcome to Single and Married with Ezzy. I am so excited to have you again. My name is Ezzy Odimuko. I'm a mom, a pastor's wife, an author, and I absolutely enjoy talking about relationships. Last week, we had a guest here, Dr. Peter Obiefuna, Uncle P, as I fondly call him. We started to discuss his new book, When Love is a Scam, and we are continuing today because we ran out of time and those conversations were just amazing. So welcome back, Uncle P.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to continue the conversation we're having last time about when love is a scam. So I have a question. I wanted to just kind of dig a little bit deeper. Just this week, we my husband and I were visiting a member that, the child was not feeling well. And as soon as we got into the hospital, we met the husband also coming out with other children, right? They have not just the one child.
Yes.
And in that moment, my heart was so moved because this was, a mom is with a little child admitted, and dad is with the other children going home. And I thought to myself, this is beautiful. This is what support is about. This is what family should be, and it shouldn't all be, yes, money is important, but it shouldn't just be about money.
Yeah.
But I'm finding that money is breaking a lot of homes. So issues around finances and money. Again, we know the economic pressures. We know all the different things families are saying. And then we talked about roles now, right? Some roles are not just so super obvious.
Yeah.
So please, I want you to elaborate or talk to us a little bit more about some of those things, those benefits that we get from one another that are not always in dollars and cents.
Okay.
Yeah. So how can families, couples, have that deeper understanding? Yes, while we need finances, but everything does not have to boil down to, what is in the checking account.
Okay. Thank you. I like the way you framed the question.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm tempted to mention a word or two about money for a starting point. The reason is this book likes to dwell on things nobody wants to talk about. In fact, that's the motivation for writing the book, because I'm reading romantic books and love books, and people are just avoiding the main issues. It's difficult for somebody to come into your counseling room and say, my wife she makes money, but she spends it all on Gucci bags, and so I'm really angry at her. Mm-hmm. So he won't say that way. He will just say she's disrespectful. And it's difficult to discuss disrespect if finances is a problem. People won't talk about money.
Yeah.
You will also find that women complain about husband's income more than men complain about the wife's income.
That's true.
And there's a good reason for that. I don't know if it's a good reason. There's a logical reason for that. And the reason is, simply speaking, research has shown that men tend to be evaluated by their extrinsic value, their endeavor, what they can add to themselves. They break the sweat and till the soil and bring food into the barn. That is so a strong man who can defeat enemies at the battle and till the soil is a great man. But the woman is evaluated primarily by her intrinsic value. Is she beautiful? Is she fertile? Is she soft and tender? Is she well-mannered and kind? So because of that, all a woman needs to do to pass is to show up pretty.
Show up pretty, show up beautiful.
So the native instinct is she shows up beautiful, she has a pass mark. Everything she adds is extra.
Yeah.
For a woman to for a man to pass, he has to, if he brings himself, I'm like, nah, your body I go chop. I better go and work.
But whose fault is that? Because when God made man, the first thing he gave him was work.
Agreed. And that is why I'm not even framing it as a fault. I'm framing it as the structure we play in. So when this man shows up, which is why you watch some of these dating shows, and a woman is 21 and is a student and is looking for love, and that's fine. A guy is 21 and is a student looking for love. The woman will tell him,
"You're not ready.
Brother, go and work.
Get work.
You're not ready to look for love. You should focus on your books." So if you now bring that to the home while there's discontent and some of the benefits of being in a relationship, the money problem affects the man more than it would affect the woman, which is also why when you look at the social research that is going on, a woman is willing to support a man that doesn't have money for a duration.
Okay.
Based on conditions like he better be behaving now.
Okay.
And he better be looking for work, and maybe up to some girls will say up to 3 months, some girls will up to 1 year. But the important aspect of that research is that you will always hear the woman say, provided X or Y or Z. If you ask a man, how long will you support your woman if she doesn't have a job? You're like, it's my woman. This is my woman, period. There is no condition. So it affects women more when the man doesn't have money.
Yeah.
The second thing about money is when a man has money, I'm going to speak for both sides.
Yeah.
When a man has money, it can bring certain attitude. He feels entitled to the manliness of how his father was operating at home.
Okay.
He could bring it to a wife who sometimes is keeping quiet because he has money and I need food for my children. And then he doesn't have the money again. She feels like, please don't bring me the bad mouth. I was tolerating it because you were paying the bills. And if you're not paying the bills, please don't abuse me. And he's feeling, since when? I could have abused. Well, he won't put in those words. I could express myself without being. So you're trying to reduce me. You start hearing words like emasculate. You're trying to emasculate me because I didn't have a job. Or, Daddy, you've been home all day. You could have checked the mail now. And, oh, you are sending me to check mail now? Since when? From where to where? Because I don't have it. So the man begins to feel humiliated, emasculated when there's no money. The woman begins to feel that she's walking on pins and needles. She's walking on eggshells. Because every little thing she said, she can't even answer back as she used to.
Okay.
When he was...
This is more sensitive now.
Yeah.
Okay.
When he was Odogu, she can answer back. The day, you know how sometimes when women will wake up, their head is touching wire. They'll just be like, hey, oh God, blah, 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 I don't like this thing. But you say you liked it yesterday. That's yesterday, Joe. And the man will say, okay, baby, it's okay. Because he's a confident man. If he doesn't have money, he'll say, see how she's talking to me.
Yeah. So lack just really shifts
shift.
Ego and
that's right.
Self-esteem.
And both persons are suffering the non-financial consequences of a financial problem.
I like that.
And it begins to affect every other thing that we're going to discuss now, which is to your question. Which is why we needed to mention finance, because it ripples into these other things. One of the advantages of a loving relationship that is non-financial is companionship, communication. I wrote in this book, it's out of a research I conducted, that about 1/3 of women are smarter than their husbands.
Interesting.
Because if you look at the distribution of intelligence, and men and women are intelligent equally, a random sampling will put most men and women in the middle, and then 1/3 of men will be smarter than their wives, expected of women who are smarter than their husbands. The ones who are smarter than their husbands, and the man respects her and enjoys that her smartness. And I don't mean smarter in everything. It could be in this particular thing. For instance, in my home, if I need to know some very teeny-weeny thing about accounting and taxation, I know who to go to because I have a resident accountant in my house, and it's not me. Those are some of the benefits, the companionship, some bouncing things off people. Your worst critic is the person that lives in your house because they are capable of telling you no. Your staff won't tell you no if you are the boss. And companionship is not just physical and material, it's emotional. We hardly talk about sex in a marriage. It's really very important. Yeah. It's like a celebration of that vulnerability and oneness that sometimes we rise from it excited and playful one another. It works similarly, but not in exactly the same way as praying together. You rise from it with this common consensus of oneness. Now we be one. You see? Union. So when problem begins to happen and it's affecting things like that, communication is not fluid. Sex is mechanical, if at all available. And the willingness to just be there for one another now begins to get affected. You see how lack of money or distrust, it could be financial distrust, it could be distrust from maybe things too. Your mom hates me and when I tell you, you don't answer, it begins to affect things. It affects that companionship. Companionship now begins to affect some of the things you saw in that hospital. Because it's companionship that makes a man see his wife as his friend. My friend is there looking after the other kid. Let me look after these ones. And nobody has to ask him. He takes pleasure to do it. But when people come to the counseling room and complain to you, I asked him to take care of the other children. He asked me, can't you take care of 4 children at the same time? You are looking for an excuse to accuse me. My mother had 10 children and she took care of all of them while my father was in the market in another city, blah, 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 blah. You hear all that, but nobody told you that when one approached the other for sex last night, they rudely rejected. They won't tell you that 4 weeks ago when they saw him sending money to back home for the sisters' education. And then Madame says, please give me money to go make our daughter's hair. And he's like, oh, don't have to pay for everything. And now so it ripples downwards, but people are willing to talk about the part that will make them look like the victim. Okay,
wow. So what I'm getting is that when things are not functioning, usually there are root causes, right?
Sorry.
So that brings me to, I wanted to talk a little bit about respect in marriage, okay, and then love.
Yes.
Okay, women desire to be loved.
Yes.
Men desire to be respected.
Yes.
Okay. What does respect mean to a man?
Okay. Let's start from dignity.
Okay.
The reason is because every human being is equal in dignity.
Okay.
Whether you're a man or you're a woman or you're a child, you ought to treat one another as people that have equal dignity. If I meet you on the street, the way I talk to you as a stranger should be in such a way that I acknowledge that your dignity and mine are equal.
Okay.
If I had married you and you're my wife or you're my husband, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Now, to the moderator's question, women want more to be shown an expression of love.
That's right.
And that expression of love operates in a number of layers. And protection is in there, being kindly affection to them, treating their weaknesses not as something to weaponize and be vindictive against them, but as something to support them for, not putting them down, not taking sides with somebody out there to humiliate them. Provided you, the woman, are not the one causing the trouble and looking for husband to be the yes man. You go and throw stones across the neighbor's fence and they say, "You're my husband, defend me." And no, he's going to tell you that you didn't behave well. And that is still an expression of love. On the other hand, the man requires, not desires, requires that you honor him. The role we'll go back to role expectations again. And the whole thing, when God wired a woman, he wired her to be a nurturer and somebody who takes what is given to her and grows it into something, adds life to it and brings it out, is breathing. That space needs protection and shielding. There's some gentleness to it. He makes man to be a conqueror of kingdoms, the ruler of the small kingdom. And when I say ruler, some people will be like, "Oh," because you've met bad rulers in the past. If you see a benevolent, kind leader,
a servant leader.
Yes, servant leader, exactly, who wants to only lead you to higher ground, you will be happy to follow. So when we talk about leadership, it bristles some fancy, but don't blame the authority of leadership. Just blame the person in the past who made leadership look ugly. A leader, between a man and a woman, you can't do democracy, right? Equal rights means 50-50 vote. So when you are in conflict, whose decision is going to be taken. The thing is, a leader requires that you honor that leader. Requires that you honor them. Not when it's convenient and sweet, but when you are honoring them because they are the leader. So it's important for a man that he feels that his wife says, because he's saying it this way, I'm going to honor him with that. But again, how we see it becoming a problem as it is, people want to make it conditional. I will honor him if he is choosing what I prefer. I will honor him if he shows that he is smarter than me. I will honor him if he is helping me. But that's not honor. That is you just voting for your self-interest. Honor is more important even when it doesn't feel convenient. And this is not an endorsement that an abusive man should just do whatever he likes. Even in scripture, the apostles were saying, we have now to choose between honoring God or honoring you, obeying God or obeying you. If you put as a man, encouraging that your leadership be promoted and acknowledged, it's not giving you a blank check to run everybody down. Yeah. Exactly. So leadership, and the book actually is probably one of the largest sections in the book, because leadership and authority are badly misunderstood. When you read leadership and authority, the way it's explained in this book, you, the man, won't even want to be a leader anymore. You see it as a job. You see it as an obligation to others. It's a sacrificial thing that when it's done well, you won't throw your shoulders up. You say, I have leadership to lead, so I can't sleep too deep. And when your sense of responsibility is not making you feel that way, you are abusing leadership. But the basic requirement for the man in a relationship, in a marriage, is that you promote that honor. What are the ways that we should do it? This man is your husband, not the best man in the world. Just as you are his wife, not the prettiest woman in the world. The way both of you treat each other should be such that they don't have to wonder if they need to be the most powerful, richest man in the world to get your respect. Just as you, the woman, don't have to wonder If you have to go and become the most beautiful woman to have him look at you with adoration, that you're entitled to.
Wow, interesting. There is so much, and we're probably going to have a part 2, 3 of this, right? But I really wanted to get into the role that extended families play in the lives of marriages and couples and families, right? Yes. We know there are benefits, but there are also sometimes that they can kind of negatively impact the family. So, I know you addressed it in this book. So please talk to us a little bit about that.
Thank you. By the way, part 3 of the book is when extended families is scam.
Yeah.
And it happens to be my favorite of the book because mostly because, let me take a few seconds to explain to you, Ezi. Part 1 of the book talks about when love of the good. Part 1 protects the good man and tells the woman, treat the good man better.
Okay.
Part 2 now advocates for the good woman and says to the man, treat the good woman better. When both of them, the man and the woman in this relationship, have cleaned up their act, they are now going to it's like going from primary school to secondary school. You've not cleaned up your little thing. You are moving from that, you past putting a pillow between you when you have an argument. You are now going to the big leagues to now deal with the world out there. Yeah. And the first stop is your extended family. How are they undermining you as a couple? Now, extended family is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's designed to be the first social security, social safety net that everybody should have.
Yeah.
Those don't have it, lack a stabilizing force that God actually designed for people. He said he puts the desolate in family. And the meaning of that is that when we fall, family catches us.
That's right.
Family should catch us. But the book talks about when all that is undermined, and the extended family becomes a weapon of dysfunction. And a number of chapters of the book were dedicated to discussing the way that dysfunction manifests in the life of a couple, in the nuclear family. And the reason it had to be spread through chapters is the book is not like a textbook. It needed to flow with the things we see and the experience, how those things manifest themselves. Because the extended family is not going to come to you and say, oh, we're extended family, we're bad people, so we're going to do you bad. No, they are coming with, we care. This is why.
Yeah.
But it's the obligation I propose in the book that the nuclear family should act wisely to receive the blessings the extended family is. Receive the goodness of the support, come and support when the baby is born, help hold the baby when you need to be somewhere. They can come and ask you advice and you give them counsel. You can mediate for them in a fair way. Your daughter-in-law is your daughter, your son-in-law is your son, and your brother-in-law is your brother. That is good. That is how it's supposed to work. But dysfunctional extended families begin to do things that undermine the nuclear family. Once the interest of the extended family is in conflict with the need of the nuclear family to be rooted and to bear fruit and to establish itself as a bona fide family in its own right. Because it's like saying that a baby in utero should be smothered because they can't talk for themselves. The nuclear family is it's like your extended family of the future. But it's now a baby trying to grow, and subduing it will not let it become the extended family of the future.
Wow, Uncle P, thank you so much. This has been amazing. But we're out of time again, and we're going to continue next week. This is so good. I really am loving the conversation. So if you're there, you have questions, don't forget, put your questions in the chat. Okay, because in a few more weeks, we're going to arrange to have Uncle P back, and he will select some questions to answer, and your question may just get selected. So don't be shy. Throw that question in, that thing you're looking to get clarified, that burning issue for you regarding what we talked about, or the book, or single living, or marriage, relationship, dating, what have you. Put it in the chat and we will pick it up, and Uncle P will give you an answer sometime later. I want to say thank you for joining us. Remember, I host a marriage mentorship class. You'll find ways that you can participate and join and be part of the class. And if you have been following me, you know that I recently launched Zitco, where we help you with your finances, whether it's mortgage, whether it's investments, or insurance. And we want to help you have, 360, 100% of everything together, not just marriage, but your finances as well. So if you want to know more about what I'm doing right now, you can just go to zitcoinc.com and you will find information on what I'm doing right now. And you can reach out to me for help with your mortgage, with your investments, with your insurance and things like that. But I do look forward to connecting with you again here on this channel, and thank you for joining. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, subscribe, and click on that bell button so that you're notified when next I come online. And so till next time is goodbye and God bless from Single and Married with Ezzy. Bye bye.